Welcome back, everybody, to the Prayin and Slayin Podcast. My name is Aaron, your host, and today we have an Operation Hunt series with Devon Rounsaville, an Oklahoma National Guard member, and we talk everything from Army food service, raising quail. He has an awesome testimony about his daughter, and of course, a good old-fashioned hunting story, and we learn more about his military service, guys. So with that, let's jump in with Devon Rounsaville.
All right, man. Well, Devin, thank you so much for coming on the Prayin and Slayin Podcast, and thank you for your service again. Current or former Army National Guard out of Oklahoma?
Former.
Awesome, man. Well, let's talk about that. What did you do in the National Guard? What got you to the National Guard? What made you want to join? All the good stuff.
So my father, he was an airman, and that's pretty much what made me want to do it, was following his footsteps. And I first actually went to the Air Force recruiter, and I just didn't like his attitude about things. And so
that's enough. That's all that matters.
I was like, I don't think the Air Force is for me. So I went talked to a Army National Guard recruiter and saw how things kind of were. He took me in the armory and stuff and got to see the vehicles and everything. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So I decided to join that. And out of all days I enlisted was on Pearl Harbor Day.
No
so
kidding.
I was like, wow, that's an honor. And
yeah.
So I joined Pearl Harbor Day 2007 and went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina for my basic. Mm-hmm. And after basic training was over, I went on over to Fort Lee, Virginia, which is where my MOS at 92 Golf food service specialist was. The reason I had chosen that MOS is I had a hearing waiver when I came in. I had quite a bit of hearing loss when I joined due to a firework accident when I was a child. And so I was really tickled that I was still able to get in and serve. And after my training was over and I got sent home, I started drilling. And within a few months, they had a volunteer deployment come up. And so I volunteered, and a battle buddy of mine, he wanted to volunteer, but he promised his wife he wouldn't volunteer for anything. And he told me to go ahead and put his name down. So I did. I volunteered for him. And we got handpicked. Everybody that applied for that deployment were handpicked. And the deployment, the unit that I went with was made up. It was called the 1st 45th Oklahoma ADT. It was an agriculture development team. And we were Sec 4 providing security for this team. This happened in 2009. And along in 2009, we had got deployed. Well, let me go back a little bit. Everybody in the unit that was Sec 4 that was not 11 Bravo infantryman was going to be reclassed to that. And I was so tickled because that's originally what I wanted to be, but I couldn't do it to my hearing loss. And first sergeant found out about my hearing loss, and he said, just go ahead and try and do it. If they find out, that's okay. But I went ahead and went to Camp Robinson, Little Rock, Arkansas, did 11 Bravo school there, passed everything, had no problems with my hearing. And I got to deploy with that unit as 11 Bravo. And later on during that tour, I ended up getting a CIB badge. And when I got home, that unit was no more. So I had to go back to my other unit that I went to from basic training. And they were looking at me funny. What's he doing with the CIB badge? He's a cook. And they got to see my papers and everything showing I was able to have it. And I was really honored to have that instead of the, what's it called, combat action badge. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it was really, really neat being a cook, getting to wear that. And I ended up getting out in 2015 due to my disability. And when well, when I got out, basically I was, I was already on Social Security and drawing my disability through the VA. So at that point, you know, I was pretty much done with the Guard. They med boarded me out. I miss it. Um, Crazy, you know. There's some things I do miss, some things I don't miss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
uh, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and if I had to do it all over again, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. That's pretty cool. I was a weapons troop for the Guards, so 2W was mine. And we there in the Iowa National Guard where I first started, did 4 years there and 2 years in Virginia. Uh, at the very end, the base was getting 132nd Fighter Wing was getting remissioned to an intelligence wing and a drone ring. The pilots were there, and the drones were, I think, flown out of Missouri. But anyway, they they kind of gave us like some options of what we could do if you were tied to the aircraft, like my job was the F-16s that were going away. You could either go somewhere else and do your job there, or get out early in some random cases, or you'd have to remission and find a different job within the unit. And so there for 4 months, 3 or 4 months, that's exactly what I picked, was a cook. So I went up and worked in the kitchen for 3 or 4 months making food. The first thing that I remember that shocked me about it is you go through the chow hall, with any other job, and I just never knew better. You know, I don't know what I expected or what I thought went into the food preparation, but I guess it just, it's kind of all steam tables and things like that. So I guess in my head, I thought more of it was maybe a little bit kind of previously prepared. They heated it up and did different things like that. But I mean, everything was like full blown from scratch, and that blew my mind. I was
Hmm.
like, no way, like they legitimately teach you how to cook. And obviously, I didn't get to go to the tech school. We end up in Virginia, so I transferred my weapons stuff out there for 2 years. I never ended up reclassing, but yeah, that was the coolest thing, is seeing actually the kitchens. And then my uncle, my dad's brother, he was an army cook as well, and yeah, he learned how to cook there in Desert Storm and stuff. And then he got out and used those skills to start working at Macaroni Grill, and moved his way up to be like a general manager or something there for a while before he
Oh
kind of
yeah.
went into the IT world. So yeah, just definitely. But I remember that. I don't know why that seems so silly to me. It blew my mind that I was like, "You guys actually make this food?" So that's such a weird thought, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was kind of neat to see.
it was.
Very good. Yeah, very cool, man. So what was your favorite part of basic training? Anything blow your mind when you went down there for that?
Um, I mean, getting to handle the weapons and an actual live grenade, that that was a little nervous. I knew
Yeah.
what it could do, and just holding that power in my hand, it made my hand sweat. I guarantee it.
My hands are sweating
Yeah,
over here thinking about
yeah,
it. Yeah, don't
yeah.
drop it.
No, no, no. Oh man. And then hearing funny stories from the drill sergeants about having extra hand grenades and having to um, throw them and use them all up. They couldn't bring them back, and so they were pulling pins on two at a time and was throwing them.
Oh my
Uh, it was pretty crazy, yeah.
gosh, and it sounds like
But
that's crazy.
it was very cold, man. I remember hopping off the bus there in Jackson, and it was snowing, and they had us all out in formation, basically getting rid of our civvy clothes and putting on, oh man, those marshmallows we call them, the marshmallow PT uniforms,
Mm-hmm.
and just freezing my butt off, just shivering, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was used to cold weather at home from hunting and fishing, but that was pretty extreme. And then especially when we got to go qualify and it's been raining prior, and then there's a water puddle there on the ground and you got to get in it. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Oh boy.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah. Yeah.
I still feel it in your bones, I bet.
Oh yeah. I don't I don't do a whole lot of talking about a lot of things that I did in service because some of it is triggers for me. I have PTSD and also TBI, traumatic brain injury. And so yeah, there's a lot of things you know, I try not to remember and do. Um, but the main important thing is I understand my triggers and I don't dwell on things. That's one of the key things I've learned is not to dwell on them. Yeah, basic training that was my mindset was I'm getting paid to exercise and and learn just to get me through it.
Yep.
And then recently I hear now they have stress cards. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of it. I haven't ever talked to anybody yet that's actually been through, through that, I guess, or that portion of it. Ours, when I went in, it was 20, I think it's 2010 to 2016. So 2010, I went to basic, or 2011, I finally got to go. I can't remember. Anyway, I did a little bit of time before I ever went to basic through the guard like program where you basically sign up to your drill weekends and then wait for a slot to open. But anyway, yeah, when I went, I think the only like rule was that they weren't supposed to swear at you, or whatever, like couldn't use cuss words and they couldn't touch you or whatever, but yeah, then of course you get out and then you hear the next evolution is they can't do this, and then there's stress cards and there's knock it off cards and whatever, like all these things. And so I'm not
Uh,
sure. I've never actually talked to somebody. I have heard about it and it seems insane to me because like the whole point is,
yeah,
beat it into your head because you'll need it on the battlefield later, right? Like that's the whole point
exactly.
of the stress that they put you through.
You're gonna
Um,
pull a card out when you're getting shot at.
yeah, right. Please stop. Uh, yeah, it's wild. No, I haven't actually talked to anybody that's been through it to know like what that system looks like. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah, my wife's cousin. I guess she went to an Oklahoma basic training at I guess Fort Sill, and they let the soldiers have their phones. I
I
was
have
blown away. Yeah, I
seen
mean
where
there was.
some airmen that I knew were like you didn't know it until there were some of them that couple classes down from us, I guess, but at the Iowa National Guard base, where they'd come through after basic or whatever, and you'd add them on Facebook, and you'd see selfies and stuff from basic training. You're like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
We got ours like once a week for 15 minutes or something, and if someone didn't answer your phone call, you just didn't talk on the phone that week. I mean, it was just as easy as that.
yeah. We ours got locked up with our civies, and we got to talk on a payphone. We had to buy a prepay card, and I forget how many weeks it was till we actually got to call home, and was only able to talk for so long. But when we first got there, they made sure that we made contact with someone at home, let them know that we made it okay. But after that, it was several weeks till we got to call home, and then when we did, it was only for like maybe 5-10 minutes. Wasn't
Yeah, it was
long.
quick.
Yeah, I missed the food. That's for sure. It was really good food. You wouldn't
Training
think so, but man. And then when I went to an Air Force garrison, I was really in for a treat. I mean, They got it made, man.
So everybody that I've known or everybody I've got that's either been in or is in the Army, that's what they say is that they always get tickled when they get stationed close enough to an Air Force base that they can go over and eat at the dining facility. So I don't know
Yeah.
what the difference is. I've actually never. I need to take advantage of it. Actually, we're here at Fort Hood right now, is where my wife's doing her clinical rotation. So she's Air Force, but stationed at an Army base for this little bit. I need to go over there and check it all out so I can see what the difference is. I guess I only know
Yeah,
the
you'll be
cush
blown away,
life.
man.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. First one I ever ate at was at Bagram Airfield Base.
Oh, no
And
kidding.
that was, yeah, man. When we not blew, but when we flew in there back in '09, we were there for a few weeks for training, learning how to operate the MRAP, the Crow systems. And I remember my first night there. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm hearing mortars coming in. And I'm looking around. Nobody's running, franticking, nothing. And I'm like, okay. And I just rolled over, went back to sleep. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what all the guys we had one opportunity while I was same thing, volunteer deployment, Arizona unit that was going to Iraq, and they had two slots or three slots or something for weapons loading on an F-16 to go. And I happened to be on my 2 week TDY training at the time, and they ended up having another. I was a two-man on the crew. They had another two-man go, or maybe another two-man stepped up at the base. Only one person from our base went, or three-man got to go. The guy that was on my crew. And that's what he said too. The wildest thing is like you hear the mortars coming, and like when you first get there, it scares the crap out of you. But then you kind of look around, same thing, and everyone else is kind of going about their business because it's just routine. Another day over there, and
Yeah.
or if you hear a different sound, you go get under one of the hardened shelters or whatever. But yeah, during the night, he said that's the weirdest part is at nighttime when everybody else is just you learn to sleep through it, which is weird. So
Yeah, it is. And then when we finally made it to Fob Gardez, our station, um, we were right next to the flight line, and there were the only choppers was allowed to come in. Wasn't a big enough strip, and it seems like they always flew over our huts. Everything just starts shaking off the walls.
wake up, boys.
Yeah, wake up.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah. Well, that's cool, man. So it sounds like as far as childhood goes, your dad was Air Force, so I guess I'll give a little props
yeah,
to him. I totally understand the attitude thing. Though I had a buddy that was in high school with me, and he wanted to join the Air Force, I think, so he could, honestly, I think he wanted to do it so he could potentially get stationed in Japan because he had a huge thing for Asian ladies. Like that was his thing. And he's ornery enough, man. So he went to talk to a recruiter, and I got called in to work that day. I worked at FedEx, so I didn't go with him. And then he ended up signing up that day, and then I went a couple weeks later. I finally got a chance to go, and I had kind of a similar experience. Like that Air Force active duty recruiter just had like a weird attitude. I didn't really like it, and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I had a couple, well, my wife now, I was dating her, and her dad was 20-year Air. He started like 6 years, 4 years, 6 years in the Air Force active duty, and then went guard. So he was in the Air National Guard there in Iowa. And then I had a couple other buddies that I knew through the grapevine that were as well, and they were giving out like bonuses for them if they referred people. So for the heck of
hmm,
it, for one of them, I was like, I'll go talk to a recruiter. Why not? And that guy, same thing. It was the recruiter that made the difference, is why I signed up. But yeah, I went guard instead of
mhm.
active for that reason. But yeah, those active duty Air Force guys, maybe they need to work on their attitude. I don't know. Get that figured out. They're
Yeah.
kicking people away. But no, that's crazy, man.
Mhm.
If you don't mind, so you said you had a fireworks accident as a kid that got your hearing messed up. What
Yes,
happened
sir.
there? If you don't mind talking
So
about it.
no, no, I don't mind. I was probably 5 years old, 5 to 6, and we had a big family gathering for the 4th of July at my dad, well, it'd be my cousins also, and I remember I had a paper sack full of black cats, and I had what do you call those lighted sticks that lights the fireworks?
Like the ones that kind of keeps a glow, like a
Yeah,
what do you call, like a tender on the end of it, kind of?
yeah. Uh, a pump.
Like
Is that
maybe
right?
that sounds right.
Um, well, it fell out of my hand and went into the bag,
Oh no.
and the bag caught on fire. And I'm standing there observing it, and they're all going off. And I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing. And after they all finished, everybody started leaving for that night. And my parents realized I couldn't hear. I was completely deaf.
No way.
And yeah, I was deaf. And they got me into a rehab center, did hearing test on me, and I had lost a massive amount of hearing. I cannot hear high frequencies like a watch going off. Can't hear it. Well, I got hit a lot of times in the shoulder in meetings.
Yeah.
Your watch going off. Like, oh crap. But yeah, so I ended up getting lucky and got a hearing waiver to get in on that. I mean, it was that much of a loss. And
Wow.
yeah, so the guard, it was like, I think it was once a year. They were monitoring my hearing and seeing how much I was losing every year. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then when I come home from overseas, I noticed right off the bat, I lost a lot more hearing because my wife is repeating a lot more. Yeah, yeah, I got engaged, by the way. Yeah, when I come home on leave, I got married, and I've only known her for a year, maybe. Yeah, about a year, and then we got married, and we ended up having a deployment baby,
Oh, no
and
kidding.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, she she's something else, boy. She's a barrel racer, a go getter, man. But I didn't want to have any more children, so I got fixed. And several years go by, and just out of the blue, I started wanting to have another one because I didn't feel it was right for her to grow up on her own without a sibling. And you mind if I share a testimony?
No, man, absolutely.
Okay. One, and this is going with the story, but um, one Saturday, I told my wife I feel like we needed to go to church. I feel like there would be a message for us to hear. And she agreed. So we went to that Sunday to my dad's church, and there was a guest preacher up there preaching. He asked everybody to come up to the altar to praise and worship the Lord. So I get up and I go up there and I lift my hands up and I'm just thanking him for all he's done and given me and watched over me. And I feel a hand laid on my shoulder and open my eyes, and it's that pastor. And he says, I have a message to give to you. Brother, my eyes got big. I smiled big. I took a step back and I said, get out of here. Nobody knew but my wife and I what I told her. And he says, the Lord said, get ready. You're about to experience the most difficult time of your life. Whatever you do, don't lose faith in the Lord, and everything will be okay. I said, yes, sir. So I went and I sat down, and she saw it. She said, what'd he say? What'd he say? I said, you ain't going to like it. I told her. So we're thinking finances. At that time, I was 80% disabled, but I was rated 100% temporary. And 8 years had passed and I was due for revaluation. And so we're thinking, they're going to lower my rating. We're going to lose money. We're going to have to move. We can't can't afford the farm anymore and all that. That's probably what it is. Well, a year goes by and we have a beautiful baby girl. And then 10 months goes by and COVID is going rampant. And my daughter, my baby, 10 months old, started acting constipated. And so we agreed to take her to the ER, get her checked out by our local, it's a small hospital. And we pulled up there and she said, let's change her diaper before bringing her in. I said, okay. So we just lifted up the back hatch, changed her diaper, and that's when we found blood in the diaper. And we didn't know which area it come from. And so we brought her in and they said, only one parent's allowed. So I said, okay. I said, you go with her, I'll wait. A few hours goes by, she comes outside with the baby, just bawling. And she says she has a severe UTI. I said, I'm not accepting that. So we went to Tulsa, St. Francis Children's Hospital. It's a huge hospital. And there they found that she had a tumor that grew from her cervix to her uterus that was blocking her from being able to use the bathroom. It was the size of a lime, and she was 10 months old.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. So they ended up trying to stick a catheter in her to drain her bladder. It was so full. They ended up having to use an adult catheter as youth would not get in there. And they got it to drain, and then they went in and took a sample of it, and it come back as rhabdosarcoma. It was a rapid growth, muscle growth tumor. And they knew a game plan on what chemo to use. So they started it right away to shrink it. Once they got it to shrink enough, then they sent us to Memphis, Tennessee at the St. Jude's Hospital there. There, they removed it by doing basically a hysterectomy. They removed the uterus along with it. And so she had a C-section that looked like. And then we come home for a week, and then we went back to St. Jude and did chemo every day along with radiation treatments, but not on weekends. And we did that for a good month. And then while that's going on, my wife is losing it. She's blaming herself, thinking that God's punishing her because she's not saved. And I said, no, baby, this is not God's doing. I said, God is a loving, caring God. I said, the devil is the one that goes and kills, steals, and destroys. I said, this is it. She said, what? I said, this is the message that the preacher gave us. I said, as long as we keep our faith in the Lord, everything's going to be okay. She said, oh my God, you're right. Brother, she's 6 years old, cancer-free.
Man, that's
Yes,
incredible.
sir. Yes, sir.
Man,
I thank it all
that's
to God.
absolutely. Yeah, that's wild, man. It's well, incredible for her, number
Yeah.
one. So praise God on that. And then yeah, to have that message come ahead of time. And the interesting part there is like you'd think it's interesting sometimes when I feel like you hear from God in a pretty clear way, and then you just enough time passes. It's nothing that's needs to smack you right away, but enough time kind of goes by that somewhere. I'm not saying you forgot about it, but like it hits you later. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
God already prepped me for this. Hold on, right about the time where someone's faith maybe started wavering is when he whispered in your ear again and said, "Hey, remember this? Remember what I told you?" At the time when you guys were breaking too, so you could keep your faith. And she's 6 years old now.
Yes,
She
sir.
she into barrel racing like her big sister, right? Or
So she no, she's starting this year. She's starting to get on the horse a little bit, but she's not a full-blown barrel racer yet. But her sister's
not
working
quite.
on her.
Yeah, I bet. A little competitive spirit probably too.
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
man.
well, how cool is that? That's crazy, dude.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you sharing that. That's intense.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
And then,
Hope it helped others as well. And keep
yeah,
their
I'm sure it
faith.
will. Amen, brother. Yeah, that's powerful. And praying for her too. We'll keep praying for her and make sure she's keep getting looked after, man. She's got a long way to go, I bet, and a lot of big
Thank
shoes to
you.
fill, I think. Sounds like from you and her sister and everybody else. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
excited to her story one day is gonna be hitting more people too, which is cool with that whole bit too. So
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
absolutely, man. Well, not to backpedal too much off that, but speaking of childhood, so have you been a hunter your whole life, or did that kind of just be something that you got into? Was your dad a hunter? How'd that happen for you?
Yes, sir. Dad got me shooting pellet guns and BB guns when I was probably 6 years old. And I remember, I think I was probably 9. I killed my first squirrel. And my dad, bless his heart, his dad was killed in a car accident when he was 2 years old. So he didn't know what it was like to grow up with a father. And he had it really difficult. He grew up with an alcoholic mother. And he ended up raising his little brother. She was gone all the time. And so he he really did a great job raising me, teaching me things and how to hunt and even plumbing stuff. He's a retired plumber. Yeah, but yeah, I give it all to him, teaching me how to hunt and fish. Uh, man, I think the only time I ever missed a deer season was because of my deployment. Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, but it's been hard hunting lately. Going on 5 years now. Uh, he's blind. He has demacular eye generation disease, and so he's not able to hunt, shoot, none of that stuff. And he was my going hunting buddy. I mean, when we hunted, we didn't just hunt from morning till noon. I mean, if we didn't see nothing, we would stay there from sun up till sundown. And same thing with bass fishing. Man, we used to bass fish all day long. And then when we caught our limit, we would just turn the smallest back and keep the biggest, keep going. And so, yeah, it's been hunting and especially going to the places where he took me and then sharing those memories by myself there. Um, I'm hoping Kinsley, my youngest, will get into hunting. My oldest, she likes deer jerky, but that's the extent of it.
Yeah, not the process.
Yeah, no. And but Kinsley, oh my goodness, she sees a deer, she'll point it out, and she already knows the difference from buck and doe, and it's hilarious. So, and then she's watching me process it in the house, and she thinks every meat is steak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, yeah, good steak, good steak.
That's it.
She's autistic. Yeah, she's autistic. So, but she's verbally autistic, and so that's been a learning curve for us, figuring out what she likes to eat and whatnot. And the last couple of years, she started to eat more meat, and she's been really observing me a lot. And I just didn't realize till this hunting season that deer I shot. She helped me make the bullets for that gun. I reload, and one day she was in there watching me make bullets, and I was doing it on a single stage press, and I was crimping the bullets. And for some reason, this crimping die required me to lube the bullets. So I would lube the bullet, crimp it, wipe the lube off, and repeat. And I had 4 bullets left, and I'm in the process of wiping the lube off. And she picks one up, dabs her finger in the lube, lubes it, crimps it, grabs the towel, wipes it off, and then repeats till the last one. I was like, oh my gosh.
Let's go.
So she helped me.
That's awesome, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Quick learner.
Very, very good learner. Yeah. Blown away. Yeah.
That's very cool. I mean, and in a way too, every meat is kind of steak, right? Just kind of depends on how small you want to cut it or grind it or whatever. It all starts as a steak essentially.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, maybe you do got a little hunter on your hands. That's exciting.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
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 Our little guy, he's he'll be 4 here in February, coming up quick, but he's just same thing. I think him running around enough with dad at the house. Dad's going to the gun range or taking him out or pointing out animals. We used to go on hikes in Maryland and stuff when he was real little, and he'd get to the point where he'd see deer sometimes before I would on our trail hikes, and same thing, deer. And that's always so much fun, man, getting the kids out there and just kind of seeing their sense of adventure pick up. And now he's got his pretend guns and toy guns. He's running around. His favorite thing to watch on YouTube right now is iguana hunting. Don't know why, but he likes watching the iguanas hunting. So that's what his side hustle is. So that's
that
crazy.
reminds me. Last year we was in like a Tractor Supply, and she spotted a pistol and a lever action toy gun that made the sound of a gun going off when you pulled the trigger, and she wanted it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I got it for her, and we ended up having a backyard shootout. She's in her fort shooting down at me, and I'm hiding behind something. I can't remember what it was. And I'm shooting at her, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play like she got me. And I went, oh, and I just fell over and played dead. And she's got scared. She slowly come down, Dada.
Oh no.
And I said, I got you. I got it all on our camera. We got a home surveillance camera. Got it recorded. Oh man,
that's
beautiful.
Awesome. That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool watching their emotions and how in tune they are too with stuff growing up, man. It's like, the littlest things, or if you stub your toe and you're just like, need that quick second to get through it, but guess who's right there behind you? You okay, man? Like, you good? You okay?
Yeah.
And then my mom my wife's going for her DNP degree, so she'll be a nurse practitioner when she's done with this program here. And so his big thing now is he knows mom's going to be a doctor, and so he's always like, I can't help him because mom's the doctor, not dad. So that's the whole thing now. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Never a dull moment around here now, man.
No, I bet not.
Yeah. Well, as far as hunting goes, so you got this deer, I guess, what caught my eye in the post is we were in a mobile hunting forum, and I saw first mobile deer. I'm like, cool, I got to hear that story.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get it. And also, what was unique is you already said it. This gun that you got this deer with, you gun hunted it, which is also interesting because I don't think I've seen yet where guys I've never seen trophy pictures, and I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't run across them myself yet, of guys firearm hunting out of a saddle. So that was double the intrigue for me. Was like, I've got to know, how'd you do it with a firearm up there? Because I've only ever been up there with a bow, so I kind of have that system down, but I don't really have the gun system down. And then you made your own bullets for it and everything. So what got you into mobile hunting to begin with?
This episode is powered by Dead Nuts Outdoors, makers of the most lifelike, lightweight, and weatherproof 2D archery targets in the world. That's right, I said 2D. We're talking full-size animals that bring the hunt to your backyard. Whether you're dialing in before the season or just burning daylight with your bow, Dead Nuts Targets makes practicing fun, training on full-size animals to ensure every rep in the backyard converts to success on your trips to the field. Built to last, easy to haul, compatible with any backstop, and 100% made in the USA, Dead Nuts Outdoors is a proud supporter of our veterans, investing in conservation and rooted in building a better, more confident community of hunters every step of the way. They are proud supporters of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network, and you can get 10% off your Dead Nuts targets by using the code Prayin and Slayin at checkout. That's Prayin and Slayin at your checkout or visiting the link in the show notes. Dead Nuts is helping us all hit the spot, not the dot. Hit it, Dead Nuts. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Well, so I had not a ladder, but a climbing tree stand, and man, that thing was bulky. It was heavy. My back, I have low back problems, and so that was going to be another issue trying to carry this thing into the woods. And I go a mile into the woods to hunt, get away from all the other hunters, and pretty much that's where I know where the good spots are, is within a mile. And so I started looking around for different types of tree stands, and I was going to go with one where you can buy the climbing sticks, and get you, a light platform tree stand, stick up in the tree. And then I started coming across these saddles, and I was like, what's this saddle thing? So I started YouTubing it, learning it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then come find out people have been doing it for like 8 years or so or more. Like, where have I been? Man. So like I said, this is my first year getting into it, and so excited, and I bought the Hunt Arsenal is what it's called, and I found them on eBay selling package deals where you can get the backpack, the platform, the saddle, the sticks, all bundled together, and so I bought it that way. And when it came in, I was like, oh no, I got to get a lineman. I got to get a tether. It didn't come with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up having to buy that extra stuff. And it was very educational. I started it all out in the front yard on a tree, playing it safe. And once I got confident in myself, and I knew the key thing is don't be in a hurry. Just take your time. Don't be in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was in that tree hunting it for not even a week, and I got my first kill out of it. And
That's incredible.
I made sure the gun was unloaded, and I just carry a long paracord in my pouch. So I tie it off to the suppressor, below the suppressor in the muzzle, and climb up the tree. Once I get everything up in the tree and situated, then I will hoist the gun up and load it, make sure it's on safe, and then I will hang it on my bow hanger. And it rests really secure on it. At that deer that I shot, those bullets were subsonic bullets, so they were only going 1,000 feet per second.
Oh wow!
And it was a 400 grain bullet at that, though. And that deer, on my camera, they had been coming through there, and this is on private property. So they were coming through at 20 yards. And so that's where I ended up taking that shot, and it ran 40 yards and dropped. I was shocked, thinking, I wasn't too sure how the outcome was going to be, because it's a slow bullet, but yet it's a 400 grain bullet.
Yeah.
And I killed a deer years ago with a 45 ACP, and I know that bullet wasn't going that fast either. It was a 230 grain bullet. And that deer, he only ran, I think, 30 yards and dropped. But that was a really cool kill too, with the pistol. I've never done that before. That was That was spectacular.
That's
And,
awesome.
but yeah, saw the deer coming in from 100 yards to my left, and I had trees pretty much at my 11 o'clock all the way to my 9 o'clock and around, um, pretty much providing cover. I couldn't shoot through it, but I can see them coming from my left at a pretty good distance. And my only shooting spot I had was from 12 o'clock to about 2 o'clock. And that's it. Everything else to the right is all woods and trees, but I can see a little ways to my right deer coming that way. And I had an open field out in front of me that I had this season brush hogged. And this was my first time ever getting to hunt on this property. And the deer just so thick. I think multiple times I've had 7 to 8 deer on camera.
Wow.
I'm just blown away. And the bucks, so many bucks, but nobody hunted it. The owner, the original owner, wouldn't allow anybody to hunt because they were his yard ornaments. And then he passed away and left it to his son. And his son gave my neighbor and I permission to hunt on it. And so that deer that I killed, I had it processed. And when I got it back, I went back down there and I gave him the tenderloins, which is, the filet mignon.
Yeah.
If I
Oh,
said
yeah.
that right. I gave him the tenderloins, some back straps, summer sausage, and jerky, in appreciation to allowing us to take it. And he said, "This deer that you're giving me come from my property?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And this guy's from California, so he's only been here for a few months. And I said, "Matter of fact, here's a picture of it." And he's like, "Wow, can you send that to my phone?" And then he called his wife out. They're newlyweds. And he's showing her the deer meat and the picture of the deer and all that. And he was just really excited about it. And told me, he said, "You can come, hunt, fish, do whatever you want." I said, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "I appreciate it, man." So this place, I just hop on the four-wheeler and it's maybe a mile down the road from my house. It's 160 acres. I mean, what a blessing.
Man.
So I'm hoping next year I'm going to get to come back and do it again. I have taken another deer since that deer on the saddle group, and it was a 5-point, and he was a big, not so much on the antlers. I mean, the antlers look nice, but the body was really big. And my dad, he wanted me to specifically take a deer just for him. And I said, "Okay." So he came along, same direction from the west going east, and 20 yards. And he ran, only this time I shot it with the supersonic bullet, which was going a little over 1,800 feet per second, same 400 grain bullet. And surprisingly, it went about 50 yards. I don't know how it did it, because when I looked, man, I could stick my index finger easily in the bullet hole, that the entrance wound, but it probably had about a 4-inch diameter hole underneath the hide. Just
Wow.
massive. Yes. And then the exit wound, it really wasn't that big as the entrance, surprisingly. But yeah, I'm thinking just sticking with the subsonics though, as it doesn't have the recoil like the supersonics does, and it's very quiet, very quiet.
Yeah.
And it's like shooting a pellet gun quiet.
Wow.
Pretty neat. Yeah.
That's cool. And what's the caliber? So folks, I've got
Yeah.
your Facebook
Sorry
post pulled
about
up
that.
back here, but no, you're good.
So
It's a lever action gun. I'm assuming it's probably a Marlin.
yes, sir. It is a Marlin 1895 SBL Sierra Bravo Lima 4570.
Okay. You're reloading that all on your own and making your own bullets too.
Oh yeah, and it's a lot cheaper too than just to
Yeah.
go buy the store bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Well, on the
reload for
4570s, I'm looking at the so again, I've got the picture pulled up behind you here. The bullets, are you running copper jackets and filling them with lead, or how you doing that?
so it is a Spear copper jacketed bullet that's flat
Oh, okay.
nose, and yeah, using using that bullet with Hodgdon H4895 powder, but I will not tell the grains. 'Cause that's kind of liability, you know.
Yeah.
But that
We're not
bullet
Kevin
weight and
Steer.
that powder.
No, that's awesome, man. And like you said, that you get a 400 grain bullet. It's almost probably a little better that it's going slower, especially at 20 yards. I mean, because everything it's got is going to thump that deer, I would imagine, at a 20
Yeah,
yard distance.
I actually heard the impact, and that's impressive for hearing loss.
Well, yeah. Didn't even think of it. Well,
Yeah,
even at 20 yards, because that bullet, I mean, even 1,000 feet per second might be a little slow for a firearm, but that'd be to be able to hear that in the same report as the gun going off I mean, that tells you something. It smacked it.
yeah,
Yeah, and I don't
it is
know,
a
man.
good
Like you said
skill.
with your supersonic thing that you had with kind of bullets doing some weird things. The exit wound is smaller than the entrance. Is bullets do some weird things, man. That was one thing I learned with getting into rifle hunting when we got stationed in Montana. That's where I first picked up a rifle, and I don't know that I've shot a deer or an elk with my rifle. Specifically, my the one that comes to mind is my 6.5 300. It's just a speed demon. It's a Weatherby 6.5 300, and
Mm,
I've never had a single bullet on an animal I've taken act the same way upon impact of the animal. I've had them, enter where they always enter where they're supposed to, but what happens inside after that is like a crapshoot. It's kind of crazy. Had
yeah,
some deer go far, had deer not move, had the bullet end up in the hind quarter somehow on the opposite or on the same side as the entrance wound, but it just wild stuff. It's intense. But
oh yeah.
yeah, that's crazy, man. So you got 2 bucks this year then?
So I got 2 bucks and 3 does.
Okay, awesome. All
Yeah,
with the same caliber.
no, no. Got the got a buck and doe with the 4570, and then the other got another buck with the it's primitive black powder rifle. Sorry, my
Okay,
TBI
no,
is
you're
trying
good.
to kick in there.
Oh, no worries,
um,
man. You're good.
and then the others were with a crossbow. I I started this last season to this season hunting with a compound bow, and my left shoulder was giving me some fits, and also I guess you could say buck fever was giving me some fits as well. Um,
It'll do it.
I shot at a really nice buck beginning season out of a tent before I knew anything about the saddles, and I was hunting out of a tent, and I hit them high, and a lot of the arrow was sticking out. So that told me I had to hit the shoulder plate. And 3 days later, saw him back on camera. I was like, okay, he's okay. Arrow's gone. He got rid of it somewhere, but there was no blood trail. It was crazy. And then shot at some other deer, and I'd either hit below or over. And I actually hit one doe, and I didn't think it was lethal till a few days later. I found her. There was no blood trail on her, and so I didn't even recover the arrow. I don't know where it went. But yeah, I thought I totally missed. And after finding that and then seeing what's happening, I'm like, I'm not here to torture or injure deer. I want to take the deer. So
Mm-hmm.
I sold the bow. I got rid of it. And I went and I bought a crossbow. And I'm a lot more precise on where I'm hitting at with it than I was the compound. I was really wanting to kill my first compound bow deer, but it's just not going to happen. Now, I don't want to hurt any more deer like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to stick to the crossbow. So, but
Yeah.
I ended up getting a 10 point crossbow. I cannot think of the model on top of my head, but I was really blown away by it. It has a self-cocking system, and you can decock with it as well. And while you're cranking to pull the string back or to release the string back forward, if your hand slips, it stays still. It doesn't move.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is really cool. And there's no clacking noise when you're cranking it. Yeah, it's just dead quiet and smooth. So this bow, it shoots 390 feet per second. I mean, it's flying, shooting a
Yeah.
100 grain NAP broadhead. I was using the Spitfire broadheads, and I was having issues right off the bat. And the field points were hitting dead on, but the broadheads, they were just flying everywhere. And so I took it to my local archery store. It's called Pat's Archery. And they said, yeah, your broadheads are opening up in flight.
Oh,
He said,
no.
we're going to have to change your broadheads out. So he switched them out to some kind of NAP broadhead or a two-bladed broadhead. And they will not expand unless it's flying over 500 feet per second.
Okay.
And I started shooting those, and sure enough, they fly true. So it was a little learning curve.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going from, compound, like you said, there's a lot of, well, the majority of shooting a compound is the user. It's not even so much the bow. So like you said, every little thing can throw you off just a little bit, or if you got some shoulder issues and that's already affecting you through your draw, and then buck fever on top of it, it's not necessarily a good recipe, man. But yeah, it's the crossbow. I think for guys that especially got some shoulder issues and stuff like that, like I said, just being able to do it bow and arrow, but a little bit more controlled, and especially for a guy like you, maybe he's into the firearm side already, and that's kind of your mechanics just set for shooting a firearm. You kind of get to mix the best of both worlds, and
Mm-hmm.
probably shooting off a rest, which helps too. So that takes the steadiness element out of it. At least helps out with
So
it quite a bit.
uh, you said rest. Um, that's basically what I use for a rest when I'm up in my saddle is my bridge. My bridge
Oh,
really
okay.
helps support holding that weapon up to shoot. So, yeah, any viewers listening, use your bridge, figure it out. I just lay my elbow and forearm across it when I'm turned to shoot at the deer. It really helps.
So you're just using your forearm against the bridge with your palm obviously holding the rifle then at that point, and that's just
Roger.
providing enough resistance there to keep you kind of steady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
And
that's a good idea.
also, when I'm ready to shoot, I'm not leaning. I actually tighten my tether up a little bit. So I'm a little closer to the tree and there's more tension on that bridge. So
Okay.
that kind of helps too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I wasn't sure on for firearms. I've like I said, I've only ever gone up with a compound bow in my hand, so I kind of have the idea of what that's like. But the firearm side of things, I've wanted to. I just never got out with a firearm to do it. But I kind of always assumed that I would just lean the gun against a tree, maybe use my hand, as like
Yeah.
a rest or something like that, which would be good. And then um, one of the things that I learned the hard way was a knee pad is really important when you get up and go saddle hunting. After a handful of days, your knees are about shot from leaning up against that tree. So I actually made a product called the knee bag, and I made it off of the concept of a shooting bag. And so it's a knee bag when you're doing your archery season and stuff like that. But for firearms, same concept. You can strap it to the tree. You could probably strap it to your bridge even without cinching it up, to where you might even have a rest there to lay it across. But that you have some sort of a shooting system or a shooting bag system to strap to the tree as well. So need to get out there and do some testing on that. Climb a tree with it, but works great for knees. Need to do some more testing on the firearm side.
Yeah, on the knee pads, the beginning of the season, I was using some Cryptek gear that had built-in knee pads that you slide into the pants.
Yep.
That worked, but then I upgraded over to the Sitka gear, and they didn't have that option. And I was using the backpack that I pack everything into the woods with to protect my knees up against the tree. Um, I even sometimes, instead of placing my knees on it, I would just kind of wrap my legs around the backpack and just kind of have it sitting there in your groin area and just trying to relax. And it was quite comfortable, really, instead of having the knees up there.
Yeah, for sure, man. You definitely want to take some breaks on the feet. So however you can kind of situate to get comfortable. Yeah, I've played around with that too, and that's kind of where I assumed, because I have a pair of 4-low pants that have the built-in knee pads, but they're real thin. They work great for spot and stock and like gun hunting, like Montana, stuff like that. Really brush resistant. Even like the prickly pear cactuses and stuff kind of have a hard time poking through there. So
Ooh,
great for that, but against the tree, where your body weight is situated, you're pulling to the left or the right or up and down, and it still wears on them a little bit. So I have a pair of First Light pants that have the thicker, like you said, the ones you can slide in and out. And I thought that would do it, but again, the problem isn't so much that the padding isn't right; it's that you're rolling, right? So like you said,
yeah.
situating yourself to either totally take the knees out of the equation, like you said, maybe do more straddle the tree would be a good option too, um, or just find maybe something that's a little bit more fixed, like a backpack's going to hold you once your knees are in there. And that's where the knee bag thing, the other concept of that is it's um, the fill we use is like it's moldable, so your knees are going to sit in it different than mine. So, but it's the concept is not going to roll left, right, and everything else, because it molds around your kneecap basically to hold it still, which helps out with that too. So, yeah, that's awesome, man. Especially a guy reloading on your own. That's something I haven't gotten into yet. Is the
Oh,
reloading thing,
man.
and the honestly, what's kept me out of it is about every time I get the itch to start, we're bumping up against a PCS, and so it's like, I better not. For my wife's active duty career, it's like, I don't want to buy all the stuff and then have to move it all and all that, and then we get somewhere, gets finally settled, finally get a couple of good years of hunting in, you start thinking, I should probably start reloading. Then about that time, PCS season's here again, so yeah, we just found out we'll be heading to Alabama actually here. We found out this week that's where we're heading next, and that'll be a 3 to 4 year type deal. So maybe just maybe I'll get the reloading stuff on the front end and start maybe dabbling with that whole concept.
Yeah. Um, Lee, I don't care to use a lot of Lee stuff, but they do make some good stuff. They do make and I can't think of what the dye is called, but it is a kit where you don't have to have a press and you can resize and just do everything off of this one dye system. And it's basically a lot of bench rest shooters find it handy because they can take it with them to the range and be able to reload right there at the range. Try their own. So and that might be an option for you because of that, instead of having to move a table all the time. And
All
yeah,
this stuff. No,
yeah,
that's interesting. That's because I've even been tempted too. Like I save all my brass for the stuff that I shoot the most. I've got a 5 PRC that I it's just so hard not to love shooting that gun. It's got enough power for pretty much anything you want to do with it, but also it's just so much fun to shoot that it's hard for me to leave it in the safe now. I got that. I got a 270, and then I got my 6.5 300, which I call my cannon. And I've got enough factory ammo for that. I've got, I think, probably 300 rounds or 400 rounds left, and I know that's probably all I'll ever need for the life of it. You can't really shoot it that much. You shoot a couple of times at the range, and you got to let it cool off for a half hour. It's like,
Oh man.
but it's extremely accurate. It's a barrel burner for sure. So it's sighted in. I play around with it every now and then, make sure it's still zeroed. But anyway, that 6.5 PRC, I've got enough brass now. I've been saving it because I want to get into reloading, but I've even thought, man, I know some buddies that do it. I might just, like, if we end up getting stationed somewhere, just mailing them the gun and the brass and say, hey, could you help me develop a load specifically for this? Because I know some guys that do that too. But I could see where that lease system, if you can do it right there from the bench, number one, it's portable, it sounds like, but also like develop your own load right there and don't even have to wait to go home with all your number sheets and everything. You can just do it in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We got any more hunting this year, or have you tagged out officially in Oklahoma?
I'm done. I could take one more doe. So I've never been able to take this many deer in one season before. It's truly a blessing. I mean, normally I'm stuck on hunting out of my own backyard, shooting at whatever passes through. I only got 20 acres out in the country, but most of the time I hunt public land, and so that's why I was thinking about that saddle. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I could just backpack it in, climb up, hunt. And another thing about that is, I said I hunt a mile in the woods. And so if I do take a game that far, I do the gutless method. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yeah.
Deer gutless method. And man, it makes backpacking it out so much easier, less weight. The game wardens, they're okay with it. They're like, coyotes will get the carcass and have it gone within a week, so they're not worried about it. But they said when you backpacking it out, sorry,
No, you're good.
when you're backpacking it out, take the head with you, and it's sex, so they know what it is. I mean, yeah, Oklahoma, you still check it in as antlerless or antlered, but down at the bottom, they want to know, was it a doe or buck? So
Yeah.
you still, so if you get stopped, you have to show that part too, which is no big deal. I mean, I'd much rather do that than pull the whole dead weight out of the woods.
Yeah, man. 100%. Yeah, well, I grew up in Iowa, so it was like just always you shoot it, you usually gutted it right there in the field and left all that out there, but then you just still drag the whole carcass however far, back to where you could get a pickup to it or whatever. And then we moved to Montana, and I've been watching a bunch of videos on YouTube about how to do like the gutless method and stuff because I knew out there that was kind of the primary way people do that. And my wife, she got her first deer ever out there in Montana, and I asked her, I said, "Do you mind if like I try out this gutless method on it?" She goes, "You mean I don't have to stick my hands in there?" "Yeah, go for it, man. I don't care." So she helped me like debone it. But yeah, we that after that, dude, like you said, you get that in a backpack, and we took the hide because she got a whitetail, really pretty whitetail doe. She wanted to get her first deer mounted, so we had the cape and everything, so we had the proof of sex there. But yeah, it was mind-blowingly better than dragging anything. Your hands don't hurt. You're not slipping on that slick hair or the real narrow, hooves and ankles of the deer, or your hands are getting tired or your body. I mean, it was just like throw it in the backpack and haul. That was nice. And I've never looked back. I don't think I'll ever drag a deer again if I can help it.
And that hide is so much easier to work with too.
Oh yeah.
And by the time you get it home, it's all stiff and everything. But
Yep.
right there on the spot, yeah, it's so loose and easy to pull and no tugging.
Yep. You just
one thing I learned though is having a thermocell. I don't know. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, I got some when we moved to Maryland. I knew I was going to be getting back in Mosquitoville because hunting in Virginia when we were stationed out there, it was really heavy mosquitoes. And I bought them when we went back to Maryland. I sent back to the East Coast for her 2-year assignment there. Yeah, I got 2 of them now. So yes, very familiar, and they are a necessity. Absolutely.
Yes, especially when you're doing that method. Because I remember, man, getting eat up alive trying to harvest the deer and just getting attacked. And now turn that dude on and they're gone. It is
Yeah,
amazing.
it is. It works really well. And then even like just doing other little things. I don't really leave the house without it if I know we're going to hike or something. Because even like when I had the little guy in like the like toddler backpack, basically you can hike him around in. I'd hook one up to each side of down low on that to keep the mosquitoes off him or off me. And now if I'm hunting, same thing. I leave it strapped to the outside of the backpack, hiking in, and when you're set up, it's just yeah. I don't think I'll ever hit the woods without them. Now that you know the difference, you know.
Yeah, or the lake.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're fishing. Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
anywhere. They're a great tool,
Um,
man. Well, speaking of tools, what's we'll go both options. So leading up to before you saddle hunted, so all of your hunting history and hunting knowledge, what's one thing that you'll never head out to the field to hunt without? And it can't obviously your gun and bow, but what's something that you've learned to take with you every time?
well, a pistol for sure.
Okay.
Uh, I like having a backup sidearm, and whether it's, but that also depends. If you're squirrel hunting, it's okay, but if it's deer season and it's archery or muzzleloader, can't have it on you unless
Yeah.
private land.
Right.
But you know, but during rifle season, oh yeah, I got it with me just in case. You never know what you're going to run into, especially hogs around here.
Oh
So I
yeah.
know it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but it's something. I carry a, staccato CS, and it's basically a 9 millimeter uh, double magazine deal called
Double stack.
double stack. Thank you. Yeah, the double stack 1911 pistol. What it is, got a
Oh,
red
very
dot
cool.
on it. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, it is sweet.
Yeah, I bet. I've never shot one of those yet. It's on my bucket list. I got it. Always wanted a 1911, but then they came out with a double stack. I'm like, I've got to go with the double stack when I get one. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. There's so many different brands out there, but yeah, they're fun, man. They really are fun. Boy,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
definitely a backup firearm, and gotta have that thermostat during the mosquito season. That is a must. I hate using off spray. I just hate
Mhm.
the oiliness and stuff. So most of the time I won't use that at all, and I'll just run that system and don't really have any problems with ticks.
Mhm.
Just the darn mosquitoes.
Yeah, man, they'll get you. That's for sure. And then moving into mobile hunting, sounds like you had about the same experience I did. It was cool that you found at least a kit set up on eBay, you said, but that was when I was doing the research and I had some buddies that were kind of doing it. The hardest part for me to get into it was that I couldn't go anywhere and they just said, "Hey, this is the package that you need to show up in a box at your door. You put it all together and go out and go hunting." Like, it's like you had to have this part. And then you go on the forums and it's even worse because then you got the guys that are troubleshooting with all the knickknacks and this and that, and maybe let me use this rope this year and this lineman system this year and whatever. And you're just like, holy cow, like it's a whole new world. And I could never
Yeah,
find somebody that was just like, here's the kit, everything, the ropes, the carabiners, everything you need is right here in this box to just get out and go hunting. And I think some of that's maybe changed a little bit on some of the websites I've been noticing. At least they're doing a better job of putting kits together. Maybe it doesn't have all the pieces, but it's got enough. Um, I ended up getting lucky. I knew a guy over at Tethered who he said, "Don't worry, man. I'll put the package together and we'll get you taken care of." And he said, "This is what you need." And I said, "Perfect. All right." And it all showed up in one box, and I've never looked back. But
sweet.
if yeah, so if mobile hunters could do that, or mobile hunting companies could just say, "Here is the system," and call it a day, that would be ideal. And then let the guys that have the systems then nitpick the parts and everything else after that. I think that'd be easier. But what's one lesson you've learned didn't sound like you had to try too awful hard to get your first mobile hunting buck out of there. Anyway, you said a week, but what's one tip you've learned in a week that you'd like to share with people?
Oh man. Just make sure, you take your time, pay attention to details. I always make sure that when I'm climbing up a tree and I got to go over branches, um, I'll whip out my tether cord and use it until I can get over that branch with my lineman and then continue the rest of the way. Just take it easy, you know, try and enjoy it and not get hurt. I mean, it all takes one mistake and you could be out for the whole season or for life. So
Yeah.
take it easy and enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, 100% take it easy. And especially with the mobile hunting side or a climber tree stand or even just climbing your old ladder, like it's that easy. As soon as you think you've got it, you get complacent and then that's when mistakes happen. And that was with the first couple of times I climbed a tree. I went out when I got my saddle set up and had a bunch of trees in my backyard. Actually, they were just perfectly straight, no branches up for probably 30, 40 feet. Um, just a bunch of tulip poplars is what they were, but they don't get branches till way up high. And anyway, so that was perfect to try on. But I remember just how nervous and how weird it feels using ropes to climb, and you're trusting this rope, and I don't know, it was just such a my legs would physically hurt for like 2 days after each of my practice climbs because my legs are just staying so tense and they're cramping up the whole time and everything. And but then once I finally got a little comfortable with it, then it was like, okay, now stand up here on this platform and try to shoot your bow at a target down low. And that, just moving around up there takes some weird time to get used to. But then once I kind of started feeling good with it and then actually went hunting, exactly what you said, it's just like over and over in my head, I'm replaying, okay, I need to make sure I do this, take it one step at a time. One, climb up, hang your stick, step up, make sure everything's set and adjust. And I feel like it's one of those things that I think it's probably really easy when you've done it a million times to just fly up a tree and fly down. But for me, I'm like, I intentionally slow down because I'm like, I'm going to miss a step and something's going to happen, or I'm going to forget to clip something right, or who knows what, right? But yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
right there with you. My brain's always saying, slow down, just make sure you got every step. You're just playing it out in your head right before you do it. And what's the next step I got to do? And yeah, so definitely take your time for sure. It's a pretty safe method of hunting. I mean, I love after getting used to it, I love that you're connected to the tree the whole way up, which is different than even at the climber stand. Yeah, you've got your thing sliding, but you're still, while you're sliding that up, you're still kind of trusting your platform and everything to go right. And then there's different points where things get loose, but with the saddle, you've got your um, the rope around the tree the whole time on your waist. So at least if you do fall, it's hopefully a slow descent. It's going to hurt, but it's going to be a slow descent down that
Oh
tree
yeah.
instead of a rapid fall to the ground.
Yeah. And crazy. I feel more secure climbing up a tree with the saddle system than I actually did the climbing tree stands. I had a Summit climbing tree stand, and it was just it was cool, but kind of uncomfortable, and constantly making sure it bit into the tree really good before taking that bottom and moving it up.
100%.
Yeah.
There's always
Uh,
that little bit of hold your breath in little increments at different times while you're going up.
yes.
Yeah, for sure. Or it bites, it does its job and it bites too good. And that was always my thing. You're kind of sitting on, the upper portion. And then when you're trying to wiggle the teeth out of the bark on the platform, and it just feels like as soon as it finally breaks free, you're just praying it doesn't slip off your foot or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely been there too. It's a whole game.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Well, that's pretty incredible. Well, I'd be curious, is your dad still with his eye condition, does he still have an interest to try to get out and go hunting?
Oh, he he can't travel far. I mean, he's got his vision impairment now, but also um, probably about every 50 yards he needs to sit down.
Okay.
Because his low back gets to him. He crushed his lower disc
Ouch.
back in the 80s. He was trying to move a piano by himself. And yeah, that put him down for a while.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
No, I got you.
and he's 70, I think 77 now. And I mean, he was born in 1948 on a Friday. So I know that, but I think he's 77. I don't know. I have to do the math on that, but yeah, it's age is really catching up with him. He's got a mind of, say, like a 20-year-old saying, "Oh, you can do this," but your body's like, "No, you can't."
Yeah. And supposedly
So
that gets us all, and I think we all try to fight it. That no, it won't. It's like I'm not going to be that guy. No way.
yeah, I found that out 3 years ago. I was trying to do martial arts with my daughter, and my mind's like, "Yeah, you can do this. Yeah, yeah." And then while trying to do it, I end up hurting my shoulder more, and I end up having to quit it. I enjoyed it, but when they tried getting you to roll on the ground, yeah,
Hmm.
that's a young man's game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Or you got to grow up doing it, so your body's just kind of used to it. That's a yeah, easy
Yeah,
thing I bet to get injured doing. No, that's crazy. The
so
reason I asked about your dad is I worked for a company for about 10 years and they make cameras that go on like for your crossbow, for example, you could put a camera on a scope. And like we've got guys, or they had guys at the time that were blind. One guy, Dan Ferraro out of Arizona. Um, I'll have to look this up. I can't believe I don't remember. Oh, No Excuse Hunting is his organization that he put together. So they're a nonprofit. And anyway, he's blind and he goes out and does hunting, but he uses those cameras and they've got a Wi-Fi antenna in the camera, so it links up to like an iPad or a cell phone. So like you could sit there in a blind, for example, with your dad and have the camera rolling through the scope on the crossbow or something, and you can see exactly where he's aiming and be like, "All right, Dad, pull the trigger." And you could still maybe make that happen if that was something he had an interest in. I'd try to get you connected with some of that stuff if that was something you guys would be interested in. But it's a neat system for guys that want to hunt or have an interest in that, or maybe even in your dad's case, maybe just something that he might not be able to do anymore because that caught up with him. But definitely options out there for that kind of stuff, which is kind of neat to see guys do stuff. And even I think Dan, one of the videos I saw of him, he was shooting waterfowl with it. Like it was just wild. A blind guy
oh,
shooting
yeah,
waterfowl. Like, come on.
that is cool.
So yeah, yeah, it goes on. You can put it on shotgun, you can put it on rifle, you can put it on whatever, as long as you know where you're aiming, or at least a general idea. And then for the shotgun, it's got a red dot feature on it. So it's like it'll put a red dot in the center of the screen and you can actually adjust it to pattern with your gun. So a guy could take it out that can see, pattern it, adjust the camera to get that dot that where it needs to be. And then, yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could have a blind guy leading a duck and tell him up, down, left, right, and pull the trigger now type thing. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it. So
That's cool.
that's wild.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah. No, I'd have to ask him about that if he'd be interested. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
neat, man. But yeah, definitely. It's crazy the options that are out there. If there's a will, there's a way. And guys are always looking to help the next guy up. So
yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
yeah. Well, heck yeah, man. Well, it's been an honor talking with you. And one thing I like to ask everybody to do before we part ways here on the podcast is tell us something good, something you maybe think the world needs to hear to make the world a better place, or maybe a motto that you live by, but just leave us with something good.
Um. Okay. Um. Try and try and have faith in things, whether it seems impossible. Just know that the only amount of faith that you need, God said, is the size of a seed of a mustard, and that's not very much. If you ever seen a mustard seed, it is really,
Yeah,
really small. And when things just seem all within doubt, just keep your faith, stay positive, don't think negative.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the faith piece. I think a lot of that is stemmed to what you wrapped up with. There is don't think negative. That the
Yeah.
Bible talks about too. Focus on the things above, not things of this earth. I think negativity is one of the biggest things of this earth, and it's so easy now to get caught up in, or circumstances aren't going right, or something even like your daughter's situation. Like how easy is that to let that just derail everything? And I say let that, it might seem insensitive maybe to some people, but it's truly a choice. But
Hmm.
it's a choice to maintain that faith, to stay positive and say, you know what? 1 foot at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time. Just trust God, trust the process, and he works all things out for those who believe in him. So that's it can be hard for sure, but yeah, I love that. Have faith as small as a mustard seed, and don't think negative. I love it.
Awesome.
Heck yeah,
Well, brother,
man.
it was nice meeting you. Thank you for
Yeah.
allowing me to come on here, man. It's been an honor and a privilege.
You bet, Devin. Absolutely, man. It's been great to get to know you, and I know we'll stay in touch. And by the time this podcast airs, maybe you'll be out getting the gun sighted in for next season. We'll have to have you on again.
Sounds like a winner. I got a new one picked out.
All right.
6.5 Grendel.
Heck yeah, that'll be a fun one, man. I got a lot of buddies that shoot those, and they love
Do
it.
you? I'm new
Yep.
to it. I'm
Yeah.
learning. I'm going to reload for it. So we'll see.
That sounds like that's the way to do it too, because it's not a cheap round to shoot. But the guys that I know that have them, that's what they do. They reload them, and most of them are some of them are bench rest guys, but the other guys are all what am I trying to say? Predator hunters for coyotes and stuff. It's a really hot
Yeah.
round for that, I guess. So
That's kind of what I'm looking at too, is predator hunting and deer hunting with it. I got 2 different bullet choices for those. Sorry about the rooster.
oh, you're all right.
Yeah. So I'm using 90 grain bullet for coyotes and 120 grain for deer.
There you go. That's
I'll
probably
keep
a
you
good
posted,
combo.
brother.
You
Yeah.
bet, man. Well, Devin, thanks so much, man. Again, thank you for sharing your story and your testimony. And yeah, man, looking forward to staying in touch and having you on another one soon.
All right, brother. You take
All
care.
right,
God
talk to you
bless
later. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, man. That was another Operation Hunt episode with Devon Rounsaville from the Oklahoma National Guard. And man, this podcast is always more than I bargained for. When you get into an episode with somebody and we get a chance to just sit down and across from each other and share stories and connect on things we have in common, I think it's pretty crazy the things that God will bring into a conversation that will reach so many more people and touch so many more hearts than I ever could have expected with this episode. And you just never know. And Devin's story, man, about his daughter, holy cow, incredible, just from start to finish, incredible. And I love how God put it on his heart to go to church one random day. For those of us who go to church or have been to church, I think we've all felt that in some way, shape, or form. And it never fails. Or maybe you just think it's going to be another Sunday. You go to church and it feels like the pastor was talking to you. That's a big part of my story when I was growing up, and where my faith sits now. And to have Devin have a message like that get dropped in his heart, lo and behold, a few years later, going through absolutely exactly what the preacher said it would be, one of the toughest things they'll go through in their life. And now they've got a happy and beautiful little 6-year-old girl that's just healthy and rocking and rolling and has some big opportunities. And that story is going to impact the world in a big, big way. There's no doubt in my mind about it. And the verse that comes to mind just hearing his story is from Proverbs 3:5-6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all that you do, and he will show you which path to take." I think a lot of us spend a lot of time, especially in today's crazy day and age, wondering what our path is, or, trying to carve our own path. And at the end of the day, God, I think he's got a lot of paths that our lives can go down. It's up to us to make the individual daily decisions to walk on whatever path he's going to guide us on. But no matter which steps we take, he always has a plan in mind. And it's always worth trusting, because it's always so much bigger and better than anything that we could ever carve out on our own. I just think it's amazing, and especially with something like that, it takes faith down to your core to get through that type of stuff or any other crazy life things that can happen. And we got a big guy that can get us through all of it. So with that, guys, keep getting out there, keep making people better. And just like Devin said, have faith always, and keep that faith, because we serve a God that's way bigger than we are, and we can never measure up to exactly what he's got going on. And it's just I'm pretty humbled to have had the opportunity to have a sit down with this guy and hear that story and see where he's at now. And he's out there praying and slaying every single day, baby. So with that, guys, be sure to go check out the rest of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network. We've got a lot of awesome things going on. If you want more veteran content like this, go check out Hunting the Frontlines podcast with Justin Wilson, where he talks everything outdoors with veterans who've hunted all over the world, all over the United States, different places they've been stationed. And it's a one-stop shop resource for if you're getting stationed at another duty station, you want to know where you can hunt, where you can shoot, where you can do all the things that are outdoors. This podcast is for you. And of course, if you enjoy listening to any kind of military back and forth banter, Justin's the king of that. So go check out that. We got a new podcast launching with Dead Nuts Outdoors as well, the Hit It Dead Nuts podcast. You heard it here first. That will be launching, part of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network. We might even have some other surprise network additions here coming up in the near future. So with that, guys, go check out lighttofireoutdoors.com for all the Prayin and Slayin gear. We've got LTFO gear over there as well. The knee bag is there if you need something to pad your knees against the trees for your mobile hunting adventures. Gun rest for turkey season. Just an awesome little 8-ounce packable camp pillow, you name it. Maybe this thing can do it all, but it's built intentionally for protecting your knees against the trees. Go check it out there. And with that, guys, go do something awesome for somebody today. Take care of yourself. And as always, keep praying and slaying.